The film begins with Shi Qianjin, a rich lady who got all her family's money. Qianjin thinks she's better than everyone else because she's richer, more powerful, and prettier. She's also pretty sneaky. But then, she gets into trouble when her mom suddenly dies, and she has to take over her mom's job at the company. One day, on her way to the office, Qianjin's car goes through a tunnel and ends up in a world of the dead. At that time, she is super scared and tries her best to get out. In that moment, the Grim Reaper lets her go back to the living world, but only for 30 days. She has to use this time to change her bad attitude. Then, Qianjin finds herself back in her room. She thinks it was all just a dream, but then she sees a clock on her wrist that's counting down. She panics and tries to get rid of it, but it won't come off. No one else can see the clock, which confuses a watch shop worker when she goes there for help. Qianjin gets really frustrated and slams the table, wondering if it's even a real watch repair shop. Soon after, Qianjin went to the hospital hoping a doctor could help her, but instead, the doctor said she might have a mental disorder. This made her really upset. So, she asked her assistant, Julie, to go to dinner with her. When Qianjin talked about the mysterious watch on her wrist, Julie was confused too. Seeing Qianjin sad, Julie told her that she believed in her. Then, things got worse when Qianjin's beloved turtle died. She went to an animal cemetery to bury her turtle properly. The cemetery was run by a simple guy named Zhou Qingyan. Qingyan is a straightforward guy who isn't interested in women or other people's problems. Even though some might think he's poor, he is happy with his life. The day after her turtle died, Qianjin was at the cemetery crying a lot. Upon hearing that, Qingyan accidentally laughed because her crying was so over the top. When she noticed, Qingyan quickly pretended to cry too. He tried not to laugh, but Qianjin kept crying so much that he couldn't help it. When Qianjin realized he was laughing, she got really mad. There, Qingyan tried to say he wasn't laughing at her, but she didn't believe him and started chasing him. In the commotion, Qianjin tripped and ended up falling into Qingyan's arms. Soon after, Qingyan's friend, Lu Fan, showed up and saw what was happening. Qianjin demanded compensation because she felt wronged. Lu Fan pleaded with her for mercy and explained that Qingyan had a condition where he laughs when he's sad and cries when he's happy. Upon hearing that, Qianjin was skeptical and asked if such a condition really existed. Despite the explanation, she still insisted on getting compensation, which confused Qingyan and his friend. Meanwhile, Qianjin was getting more upset by their conversation, feeling like they were both pointless and wasting her time. She checked the watch on her wrist and noticed it had stopped ticking, which made her suddenly very excited, and she started talking to herself. Lu Fan then whispered to Qingyan that Qianjin might have a more serious problem. They offered to make up for it by waiving the funeral costs for the turtle and giving her some gifts and carvings. Upon hearing that, Qianjin agreed to these terms. On their way to the animal cemetery, Qingyan noticed something moving inside the turtle's chest. They opened it and found the turtle was actually alive. They took it back to the shop and treated it with acupuncture. Soon, Julie arrived to pick up Qianjin. When Lu Fan, who likes to flirt, and Julie, who also enjoys flirting, saw each other, they both tried to charm one another. Shortly after, Qianjin's turtle was alive again, and she was so happy that everyone could leave on good terms. Meanwhile, Lu Fan didn't miss the chance to flirt with Julie. At that time, Qingyan, who was more naive, just watched in amazement at how good Lu Fan was at wooing Julie, who even invited him to dinner. The next day, Qianjin went back to her usual life as a boss. After a long day of work, she invited Julie to have dinner together. During dinner, Qianjin mentioned how lucky she felt because the clock on her wrist had stopped ticking. She tried to show it to Julie, but to her surprise, the clock had started ticking again. She remembered that the clock had stopped when she was at Qingyan's shop. So, she decided to go back there. When they got to the shop, the watch stopped ticking again. There, Qianjin told Julie to step outside, and as soon as they did, the watch started ticking again. They ended up going back and forth into and out of the shop several times, which really confused Qingyan. After all this back and forth, Qianjin was convinced that something about Qingyan's shop made her watch stop. She decided she wanted to buy his shop. However, Qianjin was very arrogant about it, and Qingyan didn't want to sell. Qianjin then brought up Qingyan's debts, suggesting he should sell the shop cheaply and she would pay him a lot of money. This comment made Qing Yin really mad because it felt like an insult to his dignity. So, he ended up kicking Qianjin and her group out of his shop. After being kicked out, Qianjin quickly moved to her backup plan. She sued Qing Yin because her car had almost crashed the other day. She even had video evidence of the incident. At that time, Qing Yin remembered the event and apologized. However, Qianjin still threatened to continue the lawsuit unless Qing Yin let her stay at his place. With no other options, he agreed, and they started living together. However, they didn't get along, so they would look away from each other whenever they passed by. At night, two chefs showed up at Qing Yan's house, hired by Qianjin because she was expecting an important guest. There, she told Qing Yin that she was going to raise the rent. She also became more bossy, even kicking Qing Yin out of his own room and warning him about another rent increase. At that time, Qing Yin got really upset, so he tricked the chefs into thinking Qianjin had changed the menu, which meant they didn't need to cook anymore. Then, he started making stinky food as a prank on Qianjin. Meanwhile, the guests had arrived. Qianjin was embarrassed by the bad smell but tried to keep smiling. Soon, Qing Yin brought out a special dish. At that time, Qianjin realized she had been pranked but had to keep her cool in front of her guests. Trying the dish, she almost threw up. The smell was so bad that the guests drank a lot to cope, and eventually, they couldn't stand it anymore and left. This ruined Qianjin's business deal, and she desperately tried to get them to change their minds. After the guests left, Qianjin got really angry. She pushed Qing Yin against the wall, which scared him. But before he could react, Qianjin fainted on him because she had drunk too much alcohol. Qing Yin then carried her to her bed. A little while later, Qianjin woke up and went to the bathroom to take off her makeup. Still not fully awake, she accidentally broke a water pipe. At first, it seemed fine, but after she left, it started leaking. Hearing the leak, Qing Yin rushed to check it out and tried to stop the water. He told Qianjin to grab her things, but when she took too long, he wanted to get them himself. Meanwhile, Qianjin accidentally broke some of Qing Yan's things. These items were precious memories of his father, so he got really upset and yelled at her for being careless. Qianjin was scared by his yelling and decided to leave, as he had shouted for her to do. She was very sad and cried as she left. Soon after, Lu Fan and Julie came by and asked why Qianjin wasn't there. At that time, Qing Yin thought she was still in the house, but when he realized she had actually left, he panicked and ran out to find her. Shortly after, Qing Yin found Qianjin standing on top of a building, looking like she might jump. He quickly climbed up to her and managed to grab her just as she was about to jump. Then, they both fell, and accidentally, her lips touched his. Thankfully, Qianjin was safe. The people around who had been worried started to calm down. After that incident, Qianjin told her assistant Julie that she wasn't planning anything drastic. Instead, she was actually thinking about buying Qing Yan's shop, especially since their relationship was getting worse. On the other side, Qing Yin was being criticized by his friend who said he wasn't acting like a real man because he thought women should always be treated gently. This made him feel guilty. Suddenly, his friend dragged him in front of Qianjin to apologize. Caught off guard and confused, especially as Qianjin acted sad and pretended to cry, Qing Yin panicked. Before he could apologize, he ran off, saying he still needed to fix the pipe. Later, Qing Yin went to Qianjin's room and grabbed her leg, which she misunderstood at first. But then she realized he was just trying to treat her injured leg. Touched by his kindness, Qing Yin used this as a way to start a conversation and eventually apologize. After saying sorry, he left the room. Curious, Qianjin peeked at Qing Yin and saw him looking sad, staring at a photo she had accidentally damaged. Feeling responsible, she decided to fix the photo. She worked really hard until she managed to fix the photo to its original state. After fixing the photo, Qianjin noticed that the clock on her wrist started ticking again. This made her really panicked and confused. She walked around, constantly checking her watch, until she found Qing Yin asleep. That's when the clock stopped. There, Qianjin realized that Qing Yin was somehow making the clock stop. To be sure, she tested this a few times, and it turned out to be true. She even took a picture of the sleeping Qing Yin with her phone and planned to send a voice message to Julie explaining that Qing Yin was the reason the clock stopped. But then, Qing Yin, while half asleep, grabbed Qianjin and held her so tightly that she couldn't get away. Then, she ended up having to sleep in the same bed with him that night. The next day, Julie came over and screamed when she saw them together. Qianjin explained everything to her. She also shared her new plan to make Qingyin fall in love with her. Julie was shocked but agreed to help Qianjin. Now, Qianjin started to act charmingly around Qingyin. When she flipped her hair, he just stared at her blankly. At that time, Qianjin thought her plan was working, but then she remembered that Qingyin had a condition that affected his expressions. This left her confused again. Soon after, Qianjin suddenly announced that she would become Qingyan's assistant, which really surprised him. At that time, Qingyin was confused about why she would want to be an assistant and who even needed one. Then, he asked Qianjin why she was always following him around. Qianjin then pressured Qingyin by showing him a video of him sleeping next to her, where it looked like he might have harmed her. There, Qingyin got really scared. Shortly after, Qianjin threatened to spread the video, which made him beg her not to. Together, they went to a flower shop, where Qianjin started her plan to get closer to Qingyin. She remembered her first lesson from Julie and tried to talk casually to Qingyin as if they were good friends. But after talking a lot, Qingyin ignored her, and Qianjin felt embarrassed. She then remembered another lesson from Julie, which was to compliment Qingyin. But since he didn't know much about flowers, the compliment didn't make sense to him, and he walked away. The last lesson was to act cute. Qianjin suddenly started acting like a child, which was so unexpected that Qingyin, who was drinking water, spat it out in surprise. Despite the awkward reaction, Qianjin didn't give up and continued trying to be even cuter. After the trip to the flower shop, Qianjin took Qingyin out to lunch, following Julie's advice. At lunch, she tried to act cute by speaking Korean and calling Qingyin Appa, but he didn't understand her. So, she said it again in Mandarin, acting even more spoiled. Unfortunately, Qingyin was too naive to catch on, which made Qianjin frustrated. Suddenly, Lu Fan and Julie showed up and peeked into the car window, surprising Qingyin. Then, Qianjin and Qingyin decided to invite their friends to join them for lunch. They all ended up getting a bit tipsy and caused a commotion. After realizing they were causing a scene, they decided to head home. On their way back, Qingyin received a call that a relative was in trouble, so he rushed to help. When he arrived, he found some people causing destruction. He tried to negotiate but couldn't make any progress. Seeing Qingyin struggling, Qianjin stepped in, confident because of her wealth. She offered to buy everything on the spot to get the troublemakers to stop. In the evening, several of Qianjin's employees arrived and called out for their boss, which scared the troublemakers away. The situation with Qingyan's relative was resolved. However, there was more to Qianjin's actions than met the eye. She had cleverly used the situation to bind Qingyin to her, persuading him to sign a contract to become her personal assistant as a thank you for her help. Feeling trapped, Qingyin finally signed the contract. There, Qianjin was thrilled that her plan worked, while Qingyin felt tricked and was upset with his friend who had secretly helped Qianjin. The contract started that night, so Qingyin had only 1 hour to pack up his stuff. At that time, Qianjin was really harsh with him, telling him to keep his distance. But then, moments later, she got mad again and said Qingyin had to stay within 2 meters of her at all times. Shortly after, Qianjin decided to take a shower and told Qingyin to wait for her. There, he was confused cause he was following her orders, but Qianjin was still being mean to him. After a long wait, Qianjin finished her shower and took Qingyin to her room. To his surprise, they had to sleep in the same room. Qingyin was uncomfortable and worried about being harassed, so he tried to reject the idea. However, Qianjin insisted and forcibly made him stay. Inside the room, Qingyin kept his eyes shut. But then, Qianjin clarified that they were not going to share a bed, so he shouldn't expect anything more, and they got ready for bed. Qianjin, feeling proud, showed off the fancy features of her house. However, Qingyin turned away, unimpressed. At that time, Qianjin was pleased to see her watch had stopped again, which made her very happy. That night, they both managed to sleep peacefully. The next day, Qingyin was really surprised by how demanding the two women were with him. He had to go through a training period to learn a lot of new things and to become more disciplined. At that time, Qingyin didn't want to do it because it seemed too hard, but Qianjin wouldn't let him quit. Soon after, The training started, and Qing Yin had to try on lots of different outfits. Unfortunately, none of them looked right, which made Qianjin and her assistant frustrated. Next, Qing Yin had to learn how to serve properly, but he kept making mistakes, which annoyed Qianjin. Then, he was asked to take notes quickly while Qianjin spoke, but he got confused because she talked too fast. Another important part of the training was learning to keep the right distance from Qianjin. At that time, they even used a measuring tape to practice. So, Qing Yin trained the whole day, but he still couldn't do everything right, even simple tasks like putting things away. At that time, Zhu Li, who was watching, got really frustrated. After all the training, Qing Yin was taken to the company. There, he was shocked to see Qianjin become very stern and serious. Qing Yin was still trying to adjust to his new role, which mainly involved staying close to Qianjin to keep the clock from ticking. Sometimes, he also had to make coffee. From morning till late at night, he barely spoke and was extremely tired. One day, while Qing Yin was asleep, Qianjin came over and watched him for a long time. When Qing Yin woke up and saw her, Qianjin was caught by surprise and felt really embarrassed. Later, Qing Yin wanted to take a shower to feel better, but his stress increased when Qianjin stood in front of the bathroom to ensure they stayed close. After a while, it was time for bed. Qing Yin had secretly planned to sneak out. He waited until Qianjin was deeply asleep before making his move. There, he tried to call Lu Fan for help, but Lu Fan was busy with Zhu Li and ignored the call. Qing Yin threatened to expose Lu Fan's secrets, which scared Lu Fan into finding an excuse to leave Zhu Li. When Lu Fan finally arrived to help, Qing Yin was frustrated because his friend was walking around aimlessly and talking loudly. Even though Qing Yin had told him to be quiet to avoid drawing attention, they soon started to put their escape plan into action. Qing Yin quickly gathered all his belongings, but then realized he had forgotten his cat. When they searched for it, they found the cat on Qianjin's bed. Just then, Qianjin suddenly woke up, and both Qing Yin and Lu Fan had to quickly hide. After a tense moment, Qianjin fell back asleep, and Qing Yin managed to sneak out. Unfortunately, Lu Fan had decided to wait hidden among the trash cans outside, disguised as trash, and Qing Yin had a hard time finding him there. After a while, Qianjin woke up again and noticed the clock on her wrist was ticking once more. Then, she quickly checked for Qing Yin and discovered he was gone. Her search led her to a rope Qing Yin had used to escape. Feeling betrayed, Qianjin was very upset and immediately called Zhu Li to come over. There, she vented her frustration and tried calling Qing Yin, but he didn't answer, which irritated her even more. Qianjin suspected that Qing Yin must have had help escaping, so she asked Zhu Li about Lu Fan. At first, Zhu Li didn't think Lu Fan was involved, but when they tried to call him, they couldn't reach him either. Shortly after, Zhu Li checked Lu Fan's phone location and found it was near Qianjin's house. Now, both of them felt lied to and went to the location indicated by the phone's GPS. They found nothing there at first, but then they spotted a trash can and realized Lu Fan was hiding there, ending his attempt to stay hidden. Lu Fan was then captured and brought back to Qianjin's house. Soon after, Zhu Li took charge and vented her anger by dressing Lu Fan up in an exaggerated, silly way. Lu Fan pleaded with him to stop, pretending to be sad and crying, but it didn't work. When Qing Yin eventually came back, he was shocked to see Lu Fan looking like he was dressed in drag. Lu Fan was finally let go but remained upset with Qing Yin for putting him in that tough spot. Soon after, Qianjin told Qing Yin to hand over his cell phone. Hearing this, Lu Fan quickly grabbed Qing Yin's phone and gave it to Qianjin, smiling widely, maybe because he felt defeated. After that, Qianjin installed a tracking app on the phone to keep tabs on Qing Yin's location and warned him not to try escaping again. She then stormed off, leaving Lu Fan trying to keep his smile even though he was upset. When it was time for bed, Qing Yin went back to Qianjin's room. He thanked her for helping his family and returned a credit card Qianjin had given him for financial help. There, Qianjin said she helped because she cared about him. Suddenly, Qing Yin promised to always take care of her during their contract. They looked at each other, and Qianjin started to feel embarrassed. Feeling shy, Qianjin looked away and started to close the curtain between them. But just before the curtain closed completely, she peeked at Qing Yin one more time. His words made her feel uneasy. Then, by accident, she sent a message to Qing Yan's phone. Realizing what she had done, Qianjin panicked and was really embarrassed about the whole situation. Unable to do anything about what had happened, she decided to just go to bed. The next morning, Qianjin saw Qing Yan making breakfast and was surprised that he had prepared it for her. She seemed to like the food, but said she didn't want to eat. At that time, Qianjin hoped Qing Yan would insist on her eating, but he surprised her by saying the breakfast was actually for himself. Feeling embarrassed, Qianjin quickly started eating. Later that day, Qianjin faced some big problems at work. During an emergency meeting, some people conspired to remove her from her position. This made Qianjin very sad because she was unfairly criticized and kicked out of the meeting, and her job was at risk. At that time, Qing Yin stayed by her side and didn't leave her alone. With the support of Qing Yin, Zhu Li, and Lu Fan, Qianjin tried to bounce back. Ironically, while she was working hard, her friends were asleep. She sent out proposals to all her contacts hoping to get financial support, but unfortunately, her efforts didn't succeed, leaving her very upset. That evening, Qianjin got a call from someone unknown, offering her a chance to collaborate. The caller instructed her to go to a specific location. But when she arrived, she realized it was a trap cause. Turns out the address led to an old, abandoned building. When Qianjin got to the location, she was so scared that she immediately tried to run away. But her car tire was flat because it had hit nails that were left there on purpose. It was also pouring rain, which made things worse. Soon after, Qianjin tried to change the tire, but she couldn't do it. Feeling like it was the end for her, she gave up, standing there getting soaked by the rain. Just then, Qing Yin suddenly showed up. Seeing him gave her hope again. Then, Qing Yin took off his jacket and gave it to her, then told her to get into the car while he stayed out in the rain. The next day, Qianjin, who had just woken up, kept looking at Qing Yin. She smiled as she remembered what happened the night before, but when she tried to wake him, he wouldn't wake up. Holding Qing Yin, she realized he had gotten sick. Then, Qianjin covered him with a blanket, but in the process, she accidentally fell too. She tried to make some medicine, but since she had never really cooked before, she ended up making a huge mess in the kitchen. When they were about to give Qing Yin the medicine they made, Lu Fan and Zhu Li suddenly showed up, startling them, and causing the medicine to spill all over Qing Yin. The medicine was still very hot, which unfortunately made Qing Yin feel even worse. Soon after, they made a new batch of medicine, and Qianjin became very attentive. She insisted on taking care of Qing Yin herself and got upset whenever he tried to do anything on his own, even feeding him the medicine herself. At that time, Qing Yin, a bit scared of Qianjin's anger, just went along with it. This all seemed very romantic to them, but it left Lu Fan and Zhu Li confused. Then, Lu Fan and Zhu Li commented on how unusual it was to see Qianjin, normally so self-centered, caring for someone else, and Qing Yin, usually so independent, allowing someone to take care of him. They even questioned Qianjin and Qing Yin, teasing that Qianjin might be in love, which made her embarrassed and look for excuses. Meanwhile, Qing Yin was jokingly accused by his friend of being mean to Qianjin, especially since they had been sleeping in the same room. Then, after Lu Fan and Zhu Li left, the mood between Qianjin and Qing Yin became awkward. Qing Yin tried to show Qianjin his thermometer to prove he was feeling better, but they ended up just awkwardly avoiding each other's gaze. As they tried to go on with their day, their nervousness caused them to bump into each other twice. Embarrassed, Qianjin turned around and ran off. Then, they decided to go for a walk, but even then, their interaction was shy and distant, quite different from their usual selves. They talked little and kept space between them. Soon after, Qianjin thanked Qing Yin for always taking care of her. While they were talking, a cyclist suddenly hit Qianjin, and she ended up falling into Qing Yan's arms again. After spending the day sightseeing, they went back home. When they got home, Qing Yin started preparing dinner, but Qianjin told him to stop. She wanted to cook for Qing Yin because she was worried he might get sick again. But there, Qing Yin insisted he was fine and kept cooking, but soon after, he accidentally cut his hand with a knife. Seeing that, Qianjin panicked. Then, she rushed to get the first aid kit and quickly treated his wound. During this, Qing Yin realized he felt a warmth and comfort when he was near her. After his hand was treated, Qing Yin went back to cooking. There, Qianjin couldn't convince him to stop, so she decided to help. However, she wasn't very good at cooking and didn't even know how to hold a knife properly. Then, Qing Yin ended up teaching her how to cook. Being so close to him made Qianjin nervous, and she started moving around awkwardly, nearly hitting her head at one point. Luckily, Qing Yin was there to keep an eye on her. Getting swept up in the moment, Qianjin suggested they go out to eat instead. She also invited Qing Yin to go shopping for clothes, buying everything for him. This day made her feel more comfortable and happy around Qing Yin. As time passed, Qianjin and Qing Yin were always together, but Zhu Li and Lu Fan started to find their behavior too much and less romantic. This comfortable routine was disrupted when a man named Qiao Jun appeared suddenly. So, Qiao Jun was Qianjin's fiancé, who had just returned from studying abroad. It turned out that Qianjin had been promised to him since they were children, and she seemed really happy to see him again. Meanwhile, Qing Yin, who had developed feelings for Qianjin, was heartbroken to see her with another man. Soon after, during a meeting with Zhu Li and Lu Fan, Qiao Jun and Zhu Li hugged, which made Lu Fan upset. Qiao Jun then took Qianjin to a party and, because she needed Qing Yin to be near to stop the clock from ticking, Qing Yin had to go too. During the party, Qiao Jun treated Qing Yin like he was just a servant, which made Qianjin feel sorry for him, but she didn't say anything. At the party, Qing Yin could only watch from afar as Qianjin mingled with wealthy guests, seemingly enjoying her time with her fiancé. Then, Qiao Jun announced their upcoming marriage, which took everyone by surprise, and they congratulated Qianjin. Hearing this, Qing Yin was so upset that he left the party. Qianjin soon realized how much she had hurt Qing Yin. She was upset with Qiao Jun for announcing their marriage without her consent. No longer enjoying the party, she looked around for Qing Yin and, feeling guilty, decided to run after him. At that time, Qing Yin, who was feeling sad, heard someone calling his name. It was Qianjin. There, he was really happy because Qianjin hadn't left him. But when he saw Qing Yin's happy face, Qianjin felt sad because she remembered he had a condition that made his expressions not match his feelings. However, Qing Yin didn't realize that his smile was actually matching his true feelings this time. He was even happier because it seemed like his condition had miraculously improved. Overjoyed, Qing Yin hugged Qianjin tightly. Later, they went back to Qianjin's house. At that time, Qing Yin cooked for Qianjin, but the food was too hot for her to eat. Qing Yin then used a small fan to cool it down. This small act touched Qianjin deeply, and in that moment, she accidentally grabbed his hand. But feeling shy, she quickly let go. Then, Qianjin expressed her frustration about Qiao Jun spreading false news about their supposed marriage. She apologized to Qing Yin for how poorly Qiao Jun had treated him. After sharing her feelings, Qianjin felt much better. She was relieved that Qing Yin wasn't upset at all. Qing Yin just smiled and encouraged her to keep eating. Later, when it was time for bed, both they found it hard to fall asleep because they were too filled with happiness. The next day, Qianjin got a message from Qiao Jun asking her to join him to visit his grandmother. Qianjin felt a bit sorry for Qing Yin, but when she told him about the visit, Qing Yin surprised her by saying he would come along too. Qianjin was really happy because Qing Yin was so understanding. Meanwhile, Qiao Jun was excited to spend some time alone with Qianjin. However, his mood soured when he saw that she brought Qing Yin along too. This disappointed Qiao Jun a lot. Before, Qing Yin had been treated like just a driver, but this time, Qianjin made sure to treat him better. Soon after, Qianjin and Qiao Jun sat in the front of the car, while Qing Yin sat in the back. Throughout the ride, Qiao Jun was visibly annoyed because he couldn't have Qianjin to himself. Qing Yin noticed this and couldn't help but smile. Things got even more awkward when they arrived at Qiao Jun's grandmother's house. His grandmother, who was a bit confused, mistook Qing Yin for her granddaughter. There, Qiao Jun tried to correct her, but she was convinced that Qiao Jun was just the driver, not her grandson, which frustrated him even more. His grandmother then welcomed Qing Yin and Qianjin warmly, while Qiao Jun was left to fetch things from the car. Inside, they all watched TV and had a great time, even giving high fives to each other. There, Qiao Jun managed to smile, but when he tried to join in the high five, his grandmother scolded him. Meanwhile, Qing Yin played along as if he really was the grandmother's own granddaughter, seeking attention by helping her with pruning plants. Not wanting to be left out, Qiao Jun joined in pruning too. After their visit, Qianjin and Qing Yin said their goodbyes and got hugs from the grandmother, leaving Xiao Jun feeling a bit left out as they headed home. After the visit, Xiao Jun tried to join in the fun, but his grandmother scolded him again, leaving him disappointed. When they got back to Qianjin's house, Zhu Li and Lu Fan were waiting for them. There, Zhu Li explained that the company was in trouble because of the rumors spread about Qianjin. At that time, Xiao Jun suggested that Qianjin let him take over the company issues, but she felt bad for Qing Yin. Then, Qing Yin told Qianjin that he felt powerless to help and suggested she accept Xiao Jun's help. He forced a smile, hiding his sadness because he felt he couldn't do more for Qianjin. But there, Qianjin reassured him, saying that he had already helped her a lot and she didn't want him to feel bad about himself. Later, Xiao Jun took Qianjin away, and although she asked Qing Yin to come along, he said he couldn't. Qianjin tried to call out to him, but Qing Yin stayed quiet, struggling with his feelings. On their way, Qianjin kept thinking about Qing Yin, paying little attention to Xiao Jun. They met with a top executive from Qianjin's family company to discuss getting her position back. During the meeting, Qianjin was distracted, thinking more about Qing Yin, and decided to leave early. When she got home, she found Qing Yin packing to leave. At that time, Qianjin was very sad to see Qing Yin leaving and asked if something was wrong. Qing Yin didn't say much and just handed back their previous contract. Qianjin refused to take it back. Just then, Xiao Jun showed up. Qing Yin then left, entrusting Qianjin's care to Xiao Jun as he walked away. After Qing Yin left, Qianjin tried to run after him, but Xiao Jun grabbed her and held her back. He insulted Qing Yin, saying he wasn't good enough for Qianjin. Upon hearing that, Qianjin got really angry, broke free from Xiao Jun's grip, and tried to find Qing Yin, but he was already gone. That night, Qianjin ended up crying until morning. The next day, Xiao Jun managed to settle everything so that Qianjin could return to her job. He then came to Qianjin to tell her the good news and also to say goodbye, as he was going back overseas. Before leaving, Xiao Jun encouraged Qianjin to keep chasing the person she loves and confessed that he never regretted meeting her. They said goodbye on good terms. On his way back, Xiao Jun looked at old photos of him and Qianjin from their childhood and felt sad, but he decided it was time to let her go. Meanwhile, Qing Yin couldn't stop thinking about Qianjin and felt confused, remembering the time she had charmed him. Eventually, Qing Yin talked to his friend Hua Hua about his feelings. At that time, Hua Hua, who communicates using sign language because she can't speak, encouraged Qing Yin not to give up on the woman he loves. Motivated by her advice, Qing Yin felt a new determination and rushed off to find Qianjin. When Qing Yin got to Qianjin's house, she wasn't there, so he went to look for her somewhere else. Meanwhile, Qianjin had just returned home and was delighted to see Qing Yin's pet cat, which meant he must be back too. Then, they both ended up searching for each other. After a lot of running around, Qianjin and Qing Yin finally found each other. There, he immediately shared his feelings, telling Qianjin that he loved her. Qianjin ran to him and hugged him, showing that she accepted his love. At that time, Qianjin asked Qing Yin to always stay by her side, even after their contract was over. They began living together again. So, Qianjin, who used to get easily angry, was now shy, especially about things like taking showers, because she still needed to be close to Qing Yin to stop the clock from ticking. A few days later, Qianjin returned to her company to take back her position. She was very happy because Qing Yin was always there supporting her. Once she resumed her role, Qing Yin continued to help her at work, but things felt different now. One day, when Qing Yin was giving her a glass of milk, Qianjin accidentally dropped her pen. As he bent down to pick it up, Qianjin couldn't help herself. She held him and gave him a kiss on the lips. One evening, Qing Yin invited Qianjin to dinner. Qianjin felt shy when Qing Yin complimented her, calling her beautiful. When they got to the table, they were surprised to find Lu Fan and Zhu Li already there waiting for them. This dinner was special because Qing Yin planned to share his feelings for Qianjin again, this time in front of their friends. Before he got to the heartfelt part, Qing Yin started by gently tying Qianjin's hair back. Once she was swept up in the moment, Qing Yin openly expressed his love. Qing Yin's words were heartfelt and sincere. Moved by his declaration, Qianjin embraced him, showing her acceptance and love. It was a moment of true connection, and they felt like they had truly found their soulmates. After enjoying the dinner and having fun with their friends, they all headed home. Back at home, Qianjin acted very playful and a bit needy. She didn't want to wash her face, so Qingyan helped her. She also didn't feel like brushing her teeth. At bedtime, Qingyan took care of her like she was a little kid, tucking her in. After saying goodnight, he tried to leave, but this time Qianjin wanted him to stay close. Then, they stayed together and both fell asleep. When Qianjin woke up in the morning, she kept staring at Qingyan, feeling so happy yet hardly believing it was all real. She even touched his face to make sure. At that time, Qianjin had a list of things she wanted to do that day. First, she wanted to bake cakes and give them to children and their parents. She was excited about this because Qingyan was great at cooking and baking, so she didn't have to worry about finding recipes. Her next wish was to walk with her eyes closed, trusting that Qingyan would guide her safely. It was a special day for Qianjin, getting to do all the things she'd wished for because Qingyan was there with her. After they finished all of Qianjin's activities, they went to meet up with Zhu Li and Lu Fan. There, Zhu Li kept teasing Qianjin, making her blush. These were some of the happiest days for them. They all decided to go on a holiday together. However, during their trip, an unexpected problem arose. Qingyan's relative, who had been helped before, faced a new crisis cause robbers stole his work car right in front of Qingyan. Determined to help, Qingyan immediately chased after the robbers. The robbers, realizing they were being pursued, sped up their car. There, Qingyan used a clever driving maneuver to force them to stop, leading to a confrontation. During the fight, things got intense for Qingyan and Lu Fan. At that time, Qianjin grabbed one of the robbers' hair. The situation escalated when the robber pulled out a knife and threatened Qianjin. Upon seeing that, Qingyan rushed over to disarm the robber but got stabbed instead. Shortly after, the robbers fled the scene, leaving Qingyan injured. At that time, Qianjin was in shock, seeing Qingyan hurt and lying on the ground. Then they rushed him to the hospital, deeply upsetting everyone, especially Qianjin. After a long wait at the hospital, the doctor finally came out and told them about Qingyan's condition. At that time, Qingyan needed a lot of blood, but there was a problem cause his blood type was very rare, and the hospital didn't have any on hand. When the doctor mentioned Qingyan's blood type, it turned out to be the same as Qianjin's. Without hesitating, she told the doctor to take her blood for a transfusion. They needed so much blood that it left Qianjin extremely weak. Although the transfusion should have saved Qingyan, tragically, he passed away. At the same time, the watch on Qianjin's wrist stopped working, and Qianjin also died. In the afterlife, she met the Soul Reaper again. The Reaper congratulated her, saying she had succeeded, but it turned out her life had been traded for Qingyan's. Realizing this, Qianjin grabbed Qingyan's hand and tried to take him with her as she escaped. But Qingyan couldn't move cause his body was like a rock anchored to the ground. He told her he couldn't follow her. Soon, mist and darkness surrounded Qingyan, and Qianjin could only cry as she watched him start to disappear. All her memories with him flashed through her mind as they were separated by death. Qianjin then found herself back in her original world. When she woke up, she saw Zhu Li and Lu Fan. Confused, Qianjin asked what had really happened. Lu Fan started to explain everything. Before Qianjin's father died, he had come to Lu Fan's place feeling uneasy because he sensed something was wrong with his body. Her father was worried about leaving Qianjin alone since he hadn't shown her much love throughout her life. Then, he asked Lu Fan, who was a hypnotist, to help calm his soul, but sadly, her father passed away shortly after. After her father passed away, Qianjin was very sad and started taking medicine. There, Zhu Li noticed that Qianjin was getting worse every day, so she decided to contact Lu Fan for help. Then, Lu Fan performed extensive hypnosis on Qianjin. During the hypnosis, she was wearing her father's watch without realizing it. The soul killer she met in her subconscious was actually Lu Fan guiding her in the real world. At that time, Lu Fan had instructed Qianjin subconsciously to work through her sadness about her father's departure within 30 days. Lu Fan wasn't aware of the specifics of Qianjin's experiences, but he knew that she had managed to deal with her grief. After learning all this, Qianjin immediately thought of Qingyan. She was thrilled to find out that Qingyan was a real person and actually a friend of Lu Fan. Eagerly, she rushed to see Qingyan. At that time, Zhu Li and Lu Fan were confused about what exactly was happening between Qianjin and Qing Yan. When Qianjin arrived at Qing Yan's place, she was moved to see that everything was just as she remembered. She found Qing Yan sitting just where she remembered him. There, Qianjin approached him, but soon realized that Qing Yan didn't recognize her. This realization made her very sad. Despite the sadness, Qianjin accepted the situation. She asked Qing Yan if he would spend the day with her as she had something important to do. Qing Yan agreed, and they spent the day together. When it was time to part, Qianjin expressed her gratitude for having Qing Yan in her life. His presence had given her a sense of warmth she had never felt before. She ended their time together with a hopeful, "See you later." As Qianjin walked away, she noticed that Qing Yan was still following her, showing that maybe there was still a connection between them. Then, as Qianjin started to walk away, she turned around and asked if Qing Yan needed anything else. Qing Yan just smiled and said, 2 meters. It was a reference to the rule Qianjin had set for him to always stay close by her side. At that time, Qianjin was deeply touched by this and ran back to give Qing Yan a hug. It turned out that Qing Yan had also been hypnotized, and miraculously, their minds had become connected during the process. Throughout the time he spent with Qianjin, Qing Yan secretly cherished every moment. In this world, if someone's life path is already drawn, nothing can change it, nor can anything stop it from unfolding. Thus, Qianjin, who was once an arrogant wealthy woman, fell in love with Qing Yan, a kind-hearted, less fortunate young man. Their love story marks the beginning of a new chapter, bringing the film to a close. And so, the film ends. The moral lesson from this film is always have a hypnotist friend ready to call, because they might help you figure out your feelings, or even help you fall in love.